how do you communicate to stakeholders, recognizing your audience? And these are questions that they ask. For example, how do you communicate insight to technical stakeholders, non-technical stakeholders? And these are things that I've been able to develop when it comes to, as like projects in Amdari and all of that. And also getting feedback. I can remember one of the questions they asked me that how have you managed feedback from stakeholders? And interestingly, I just presented a project, like I think my first project at Amdari, and then of course I presented my project, and then I asked some feedback from stakeholders, and I can remember that one of the feedbacks was to work on my recommendation. It should be smart and all of that. So I was able to just come up with, yes, I remember presenting a project, and then the stakeholder said this, said that, said this. So these were things that having feedbacks and all of that. So I would say that also was a key thing. So when it comes to soft skills, and also when it comes to the technical skill itself, my Excel has gone up like this. I like even my Power BI skills and all of that. So and then I can remember, like, there was I actually got 2 jobs. Yeah. So even though I only did America, I got 2 jobs actually. Yeah. So but the other one was withdrawn because they needed me to have stayed in the UK for 5 years. So like I needed security clearance and all of that. Yeah. So but the second one was, and all of that. Yeah. So that first job that I got, I needed security clearance actually. I was given the data and then to analyze and then present at the interview. And then I went to look at the adverts. They said that they were looking for someone with Power BI experience. And then luckily for me, we had just finished a project, of course, where we have used Power BI and all of that. They didn't state any. They just told us to use any tool. So of course, because I just finished using Power BI and all of that, so I was able to flex, my skills when it comes to creating new columns, depth measures, and all of that. And so and I did that. I visualized my data, and then I came up with the PowerPoint presentation. And then I presented to them, of course, and they were happy. And one of the feedback I got, because after the interview, they gave me feedback. Yeah, so like before they presented the offer, they told me that they were actually impressed with the way I communicated my findings. They were impressed with my PowerPoint presentation. They were also impressed with the way that I was able to, flex my muscle when it comes to Power BI, because Emeka really like when it comes to using Power BI and all of that, So I was able to just show you a lot of things, creating new measures, this and that. So they were very happy at the way I was able to show my Power BI skills. So I think this is something, that I've learned when it comes to, Amdari and all of that. Another thing that, I also learned at Amdari was I had the opportunity to also lead a team. And of course, one of the interview questions was then, how have you worked, with the team and all of that? And this is something I've done. So I've led a team, of course, I've had pushback from the teams, as in like, so these are real experiences that I have, like a showcase, leading a team, of course, so working from projects, working from project end to end. So I would say that these are the things that I've actually boosted my company when it comes to interviews. So I'm not just, like, I really do have the experience. I can talk about the project. I have the skills. I can use these tools and all of that. So I would say that these are things that have actually boosted my confidence when it comes to applying for jobs and also interviewing. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. No, everything you said was spot on. Everything you said was super, super amazing. And I'm really glad that you shared all of that with us. It's pretty much showing us that the approach to solving the problem that we have identified at Amdari is really working. I mean, the whole idea is to help people's dream and goals of actualizing or landing a job get actualized faster. So you're taking a tech course, you're struggling to get a job, you've tried and tried. Oh, there is no experience. Oh, there's no relatable project. Or oh, there is no confidence. All of that. We're glad that our approach at Amdari is helping people go from being that person that is not confident or that does not have project experience and everything like that, to move on to that level where you can show off projects.
You can give me a thumbs up, send a message in chat, unmute your mic, say hello. I just need to be sure that I'm audible and you all can hear me. All right. Thank you so much, Kwame. Thank you, James. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Darlington. Hi, good evening. Yeah, I like the energy tonight. I'm looking forward to this conversation, really. And before we get right into it, I need to know some of you on the call, at least, even if I'm unable to speak with everyone, please could you share with me where you're joining from? If you joined the session previously, you can just drop that in the chat. And you could also share the career path you're trying to get into or the one that you're currently in. Just let me know what your current story or situation is, where you're joining from, the career path you're in, the one you're trying to get into, if you've joined the session before. It won't take too much of our time. I'm waiting for all of that in comments. Hi Zainab, hi Kwame, hi James. Hello, Omolara. Where are you joining me from this evening? Hi Mark as well. I see that you're on the call. Please confirm that you can hear me, because the energy was really high earlier. But now
we can hear you, Angel.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Alexandra. So please, everyone else, why the silence? Please tell me where you're joining from. I like to meet you. I'm very interested in you. I want to know you. Thank you so much, Mark. UK currently undergoing a cybersecurity level 2 course. Perfect. Nice to meet you, Mark, and everyone else on the call. Um, yeah, I see that you're responding as well. Thank you so much. So my name is Angel, and I work as a growth associate here at Amdari, and I'll be guiding us through this conversation. This is not the first alumni fireside chat we're having, thankfully. But if you're joining us for the first time, you're pretty much going to be hearing from one of our alumni. He'll be sharing his experience. And okay, James is joining from Enugu, Nigeria. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'd like to assume you're either working in data analytics or you're trying to get into that. Either ways, you're welcome. And yeah, we'll be speaking about a lot of things, including, hearing directly from one of our alumni, and we'll get into that as we continue to have the conversation. But I'll just give you the general idea why we're here this evening, what we stand to gain, and, what you should expect. The idea for tonight is really simple. A lot of people hear about internships. Hi, Kwame. I see that you're joining from the UK. Nice to meet you as well. Thank you for indulging me. A lot of people hear about internships, they hear about work experience programs and career transitions, but what they really, really want to know is what happens after you take that step. So the step where you get into internships or work experience programs, right? They want to know what the journey looks like, right? And even if you tell it to them, they'll rather hear it directly from somebody that has gone through that path. And that's why the conversation we're having tonight is going to be very, very important, right? Because the person joining me on this conversation today is someone who was once exactly where a lot of people on this call might be right now, and he decided to take that leap of faith, join the Amdari Work Experience Program, gain real experience while doing so, and then go out into the job market and apply that experience. And it has worked for him, right? But beyond that, you'll be hearing the behind the scenes story before he got that job and every other thing in between. So today, we're not just speaking about the internship, it's literally you hearing firsthand how the decision of joining the work experience program can actually change your trajectory, right? Regardless of the current level that you are, right? So before we dive in deeper, let me give a bit of context, for anyone joining us for the first time. One of the biggest challenges professionals face today is what I like to call the experience gap. A lot of people learn, they take courses, they have certifications. I myself, before I was done with college, I had over 10 certifications that I stacked because it made sense to me, and I felt at the time that it was going to give me an edge in the job market. But when it's time to apply, I realized that it was a different ballgame entirely, and a lot of people realize this as well, right? What they have, the certificates and things like that, doesn't always prove that, it doesn't always translate to industry relevant experience, right? That's experience that directly aligns with the roles that they're applying for. And it doesn't also prove that they have location relevant experience. For instance, you're in Ghana, you've worked in Ghana, you're trying to get a job in Canada or the UK. If you've not worked in Canada or the UK before, it doesn't necessarily fit the market. So experience that fits the market, the standards or the environment of the country or region that they're trying to work in, they don't have that. Your certificates cannot necessarily prove that. And that's where a lot of people get stuck. So what Amdari does is help bridge that gap, right? By giving you structured real work experience, real world experience, where you're working on relevant projects in real teams and environments, and building proof that employers in these regions are trying to get jobs can actually trust, right? So this session is pretty much about showing you what that looks like in reality, right? And we'll be painting the full picture for you. So before you get in, you know what to expect from somebody else's lived experience. Now let's talk about who we have here with us today. Tonight we have Darlington. Hi, Darlington. Are you on the call? Could you say hello to me and turn on your video if you can, so that I'm sure you're here and you can hear me?
Hello,
All right,
can you hear me?
yeah, Crystal. Right. So we
Hi.
have Darlington, and he went through the work experience program, and he also gained hands-on experience working on multiple projects, building his professional positioning, and then stepped into the job market with a much stronger profile. And tonight he's going to walk us through that journey. Darlington, it's nice to have you here. Can we get right into it at the moment? How are you feeling tonight?
It's been a long day, but I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to do my bit, and hopefully at the end of the call, a lot of us will leave here with some kind of boost from my story. So let's go.
I like your energy. Let's go. So, first question: before Amdari, what was your biggest gap, and how did it affect your interviews?
Yeah, before I'm Dari, so I have a sales background. Um, I finished the university in 2019 and I went into sales immediately, did that for 4 years, and then I moved to the UK. And then I did a master's in data science and artificial intelligence that finished last year, September. So the gap was between, okay, I have a sales background, but I have a master's in data science and AI, but I don't have any experience. So that was the gap. And to be honest, I didn't like writing code. I mean, I could, but I didn't enjoy it at all. I enjoyed I enjoy work or something that helped me, you know, have conversations with people, something that helped me relate with people. I knew a bit of data analysis. I had used it to work before, but I needed something more. I didn't want a piece of the pie. I wanted the whole pie. I wanted to be able to do things end to end, to see projects from the beginning to the end. And I wanted something with a mixture of technicality and stakeholder requirements, having to just, how can I bring different people together to be able to solve a particular problem, right? So I did my research and that's how I stumbled on the word business analysis, right? So I started applying for roles there, but the gap was I hadn't had enough projects. I had not done a lot of projects. So that was the gap I needed to fill. I was like, okay, so what do I do now? And I'm this kind of person where I don't like to just, some people when they want to do things, they just go online and before you know it, they've gone to a YouTube video, they are just following step by step. And before you know it, they have projects. And I'm this kind of person where I like one-on-one guidance. I like to be able to reach out to people when I have a problem, So I want to be able to rub minds a lot. I thrive more in someone holding my hand to show me a particular process. I learn faster. You do it one time, you do it twice, you don't need to tell me again what to do. So I started seeing this kind of like ads on my Instagram. Amdari, and I can't forget the ad. It's a very funny ad. So I think his name is Femen or something. He rides a bike and then he comes to the front of the camera and starts telling you how you can make your career switch. And that's how I started with Amdari. So I needed to fill that gap of projects. People need to trust you with their work. Yeah. So that was the gap I needed to fill.
Thank you for sharing that. Did you ever get to interview stages and recruiters gave you this feedback, or you just retrospected yourself and figured that this existed, you didn't want to live in denial, so you decided to take the step?
A bit of both. From applying for these jobs, and then you try to find out same people that have applied, and probably maybe you see someone who got the role on LinkedIn, and then you go through their profile. You can tell that deep down, say this guy. If I was in the recruiter's shoes, I'll sharp pick this guy. So it was a bit of both. I also got feedbacks as well, where they won't tell you don't have enough projects. They will tell you we need someone with more experience. Right, so they frame it that way. We need someone with more experience, someone who has worked on things that are like more hands-on or some sort of stuff like that. So it's left for you to now go upgrade yourself or make yourself familiar with the terminologies or with the do's everyday workings of that particular space. So it was a no-brainer. I needed to learn.
Okay, that makes sense then. Thank you for sharing that. And this moves me to my next question. I'm curious, in the interview you went through for the current role that you work in right now, what was the one project or skill from Amdari that made the hiring manager, sit up and take notice? What was that thing that made them interested in you from the entire thing you went through with Amdari?
Okay, yeah. So my story continues. So I get in touch with Amdari. I sign up for the business analysis 3 months. So while I'm doing the course, I start posting things around my social media about what I'm trying to do. Now, the role I'm currently on is called a selection and implementation role. So for the company I work for, I'm supposed to help them to implement a new HR system, to select and implement a new HR system. So he reached out to me on LinkedIn. My current line manager reached out to me on LinkedIn. I had done an internship with him before, but it was on something absolutely different. It was something on machine learning. So he reached out to me. It was like he wants to interview me, him and one other person. He wasn't the main interviewer, it was someone else. Wants to interview me on the role. So we got into the interview, and he starts asking. He just basically asked me an end-to-end question on how I intend to implement and select this project. And that was when we were studying, or when we're learning things on requirements gathering, functional requirements, everything that you're supposed to know as a business analyst on how to execute a project from one place to another, or from one stage to the other, risk analysis and all of that. So I had just learned about it some like a night before, 2 nights before. I just downloaded the exact thing I learned from there, right? I just told him step by step, right? Some people say, oh, that's right place, right time. But if I didn't have that knowledge from what I learned from our classes at Amdari, I wouldn't be able to do it. So he was like, it seems like for all the persons he's interviewed, I'm actually the one who has been able to give him a plan off the top of my head, not let me go and research. You don't know the project yet, but it feels like you already have a plan. You don't necessarily need to be too correct, but you seem sure among the persons we've interviewed that you kind of know what you're going to do. Even if you don't even know the task, at least you have an idea. So that was the eureka moment for them. And I think they made the right choice. I mean, you can't find people like us anyhow.
Definitely, they did make the right choice. They did make the right choice. So yeah, I like this story because it just speaks to, like you rightly said, right place, right time. But it also speaks to the fact that you applied yourself to the projects, and that's why you're able to recall that this is something that you just experienced, and you're able to, yeah. So that makes a lot of sense. So what aspect of the work experience program was most exciting for you?
The projects. The projects was the most exciting part, because those projects are real life projects. They can count as work experience for you, actually. And not just the projects, the fact that our tutor had this 1 p.m. calls every day, where once it's 1 p.m., you can log in on a Google Meet like this and ask any questions you're having if you have problems with your work. And that's part of the things Amdari offers that is really, really good. That one-to-one, where you don't feel like you're alone, after the class and then all the assessments on Google Meet or on Google Drive. No one tells you, just go ahead and do what you like. People are there to guide you. So the projects were tailored to current real-world problems that recruiters would ask of, the common problems you would have. And then at some point, we also worked with different people. So we were doing business analysis, but there was a project where we had to work with a project manager, a machine learning guy. I think there was a software development guy too as well to it. So they brought everyone together to work on one project. So it made you feel like, okay, you're in a work setting where information or data has to go from this person to this person once you're done. So it made it timely. It made it feel like it's a simulation of a everyday, day-to-day setting you're going to have to deal with if you are actually working in an organization. So that was the best part as well. You get to meet people, you get to connect with people. Who knows, your next co-founder can be on that call if you're an entrepreneur. So it was a really big a really eye-opening 3 months for me.
That makes sense. Thank you for sharing that. Since you're speaking to that, could you share what your typical day was as an intern at Amdari?
My typical day was as an intern. We had sessions twice a week. I think it was on Wednesdays and Fridays. It was in the evenings because our tutor had to make it flexible for the people attending. So on the first class, she told us to pick which days would be good for us. I was like, that's nice. At least you're trying to make the work suits the worker and not the worker suit the work. So that was the first thing that caught my attention. Oh, these guys actually care. And then in the evenings, the classes were for mostly an hour and a half. Sometimes it stretches to 2. And then it's kind of like teaching using a project, and then assessments are being dropped on I think that's Google Workspace or some, forgotten the name. So the assessments are there, you go there, you do your assessments, and those assessments are projects. Of course, they're step-by-step projects. So, and then if you miss it, you can actually go back to watch if you want to. And then the following class, the next class, we review the project, everything you've done. It starts with questions. And then at the end of each project, there's a presentation, a short presentation to be sure that you know exactly what you did. And the presentation is not to score you or not to make you feel like, oh, you're not sure what you're doing. It's just to be clear that you know exactly what to do. And then on the Amdari website, there are lots of projects you can tackle on your own, regardless if you're doing business analysis, data analysis, machine learning, cybersecurity, all that is on the website, like 5 free ones you could do that you can put on your CV, and people are like, these are good projects. So that's like what a typical day was. So it doesn't take away your day job. It's not stressful where, oh, you must be hell-bent on it morning till night. It's as flexible as possible. The whole aim there is that you have knowledge and you have experience.
Yeah, I like that you spoke to everything. And then my final question would be, if you were speaking to someone who is where you were 6 months before you joined Amdari, right? What would you tell them from this phase that you are right now? What would your advice be to them?
Do you mean someone who wants to change careers?
Someone who is scared about taking that leap of faith, investing in themselves, considering joining a work experience program, things like that.
How do I say this now without having to sound like Aspire to Maguire? Well, if you're looking for a career switch, or if you're looking to change careers, there's a lot of flashy things around now. There's a lot of, and social media doesn't make it any easier. A day in the life of a software engineer working in Meta. I come into the office, I open my laptop and I take my coffee. People want to be excited for stuff like that. But you need to know your limits. You need to know there's nothing better than working in a space you really like. How do you know a space you really like? Number one is you wake up in the morning and someone engages you in the conversation of that thing, and you can talk about it for ages. So first things first, you need to find out what your strong points are. What are your strengths? And if you're making that career switch, are you making a career switch because you have something to offer in that space, or are you making a career switch because it looks flashy? Because if it looks flashy, a flashy car today, it's fairly used tomorrow. So you're not always going to be excited about your space. When that problem comes, the excitement is not going to be there, right? You don't want to work in a place where when problems come, it feels like a burden. You want to work in a space where when problems come, you're excited to want to solve it. It's a new experience for you. It's an opportunity to gain more knowledge. It's an opportunity to scale a hill. And then when you come out at the end, you're sure of what you did. So that's number one. Understand what space you want to go into and be sure, do your research and be sure is what you want to do, right? So you've heard people talk about AI and building models. Are you sure you like to code? Right? Can you stay hours looking for one semicolon that is out of place, which is the whole reason your code cannot run? If you're that patient, fine. But if you're not that patient, why go into that space? Right? So when you find out you want to go into that space and you're sure what you want to do, you can now go into research on who are the major people in that space and how did they get there? Who are the top guns in that space and how did they climb? Are they certifications they are supposed to do? Are there exams you are supposed to write? Things like that. Once you've done that research, you now look for platforms that can teach you. And Amdari is a perfect example. It's teaching and projects. The best way to learn is to do. That's basically what I don't know Amdari's motto, but I think that should be it because that's literally what they do. The best way to learn is to do. So that fear starts to leave you, you know, that anxiety of, oh, can I do this? Oh, can I open up I hope I don't press the wrong key. Projects take away that fear, and that's basically what Amdari has to offer you. And then when you're done learning, apply yourself, network, anything that will put you in the space where you're not sore, anything that will put you in a space where you're not like that tool, you're not like that iron tool in the garage that has gathered dust and rust. If they use you often, or if you're being used often, you're still shiny. So you need to be shiny, you need to be abreast. And the truth is, when you start being visible in that space, right? People don't know this, but you start to distinct yourself, and recruiters will people start to see you like an industry head. So you start to distinct yourself in your space, and recruiters will start to reach out to you in your LinkedIn. They'll start to reach out to you as compared to people that are bombarding CVs every day. Once you just cook yourself like that for 6 months, 1 year, people start to see you like someone who is an industry head, and they start to get across to you, they start to reach out to you. And you might not even, you might get hired at a networking event. It works like that, you know. So yeah, those are my aspire to Maguire steps.
I'm really inspired. Thank you so much for sharing all of that, Darlington. At this point, yes, exactly. If you have questions, Darlington is here to respond, to give you answers from his lived experience, and we can only take a few questions. So if you have questions, now is the time. Thank you, Joy, for reacting with that emoji. Kwame, your hand is raised. I'm curious. Are you trying to ask a question right now, or it was from earlier? Thank you, Mark. Do you have a question? I think somebody just tried to mute his mic. Kwame, can you hear me? Because I see that your hand is raised. Okay, that's fine. So we can only take a few questions. If you have a question, now is the best time. The best way to learn is to do. The best way to find out is to ask. So yes, please, if you have a question, now is the best time. And if we have no questions, we have Zainab. Hi, Zainab, go ahead.
Thank you, Darlington, for sharing your journey with us. My question is, for me, I'm in the project management space here. And when I check Amdari, I saw that like most of the tutors are based in Nigeria. And to be honest, in Nigeria and the UK, it's like a different energy. Like the terms and everything. Although I checked for business analysis, I noticed one person was outside of like the country. I can't remember the country, to be honest. So how did that dynamics work?
First off, the location might be different, but the knowledge is the same. So stakeholders interview means the same thing in Nigeria as much as it means the same thing in the UK. The lingua might be slightly different, but the procedures, I'm talking about the business analysis space now because my role where I'm working is selection and implementation lead. So most of the things I heard I'll call it in class or in the session, are not different from what I'm doing now. I would say about 90% I've heard it before. And that before is basically where I was studying. So the dynamics of the tutors being in Nigeria didn't really affect at all, right? Because I mean, they knew more than me and all I had to do was listen and then apply. So look at it like you're giving the blueprint, right? You're giving the blueprint for another house. And the blueprint is what you now take. And then you can build your own house on it. That's how I see it. So the different geographical locations did did not affect anything at all. It's just knowledge. And I mean, I added my own research as well. I'm that kind of guy that would want to go do my research before I ask questions. So I'm confused about something, I go do research on that thing and then come back with questions to see if what you're going to answer will tally with what I researched. So that I'll see what the correlation looks like. So now did I answer your question?
Yeah, you did. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Zainab. Hi, Joy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, so just to add a bit to that, what um, oh, Gality just said. So, like I said, the tutors, the allocation is not really a factor at all because project management in Canada, United Kingdom, curriculums are the same, right? The most important thing is you having the concept, right? You having the concept and understand, grasp what project management is in itself. I think the team of Amdari they have an employability team who handles your CVs, interviews, and all those stuff. So it's global. So they're going to tell all those things based on your location, right? Um, I'm not an alumni yet. I've just only subscribed and I've gone through the dashboard and I've seen a lot of things. And I just wonder why have I not registered for this course for this program since over 1 year I've been, following them because I've seen a lot of programs out there, you know, a lot of them are chore. So that really made me to, you know, initially not have interest in it. But I haven't attended sections and sections for over the time. I monitor them closely. So I have to register. And the moment I go to their dashboard, the space and everything, I just like, wow, why have I wasted my time or the why? I think what you gain um once you get into the program, you'll be amazed. I think you that the entire platform will speak for itself. I don't think they're even doing much by, explaining how much they have for you or have for people out there. So for me, I'm just talking based on what I've seen. And with what Danity have said tonight, there's nothing far from what you're going to get once you register into the program. Trust me. Whether the tutors are in Kafasha, they're in Canada, they're in Pakistan, whatever it is, that's not a problem. The most important thing is for you to get value, get the job. And I think Amdari has that, they have the capacity to do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joy. And I am really, really looking forward to your testimonial and speaking with you like this sometime in the future. But thank you so much for sharing that. Do we have any other questions? Before I hand over to Omowumi, the co-founder at Amdari, and say goodbye to Darlington so he can rest after his busy day. Gone. Thank you so much, Darlington, for your time, and all of the gems you dropped are top of mind. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Darlington, and thank you, Angel. Angel, the way you said gone, and gone, it felt like you wanted to run away. Like you can't wait to leave. Thank you so much, Darlington. It's nice to see you again, and everything you said was amazing. I was just listening on the background, and I really think what you said and what Joy said perfectly answers the question that was asked earlier. So, we would release Darlington because you were gracious enough to, say yes to our invitation and do this with us. Thank you so much. Do have a beautiful evening. Yeah. So for everyone else, I will just wrap this up as soon as possible so that I don't take too much of your time, right? A lot of things that Darlington has said has really spoken to this internship. And what Joy also said just now regarding what she has seen so far, even though she had just subscribed for the program. One thing I can tell you, and this is just me trying to still answer the question that was asked, right? I'm trying to remember the person that asked because I think I took my eyes off the screen for that period. So forgive me, please. So based on all that has been said, one thing I can tell you for a fact is this internship, or let me not say this internship, let me talk about location. The same reason that makes recruiters across the UK, US, Canada hire Nigerians from Nigeria while living in Nigeria is the same reason why your knowledge, wherever you get it from, is going to be applicable regardless of your location. The most important thing is, can you get it done? Have you done it before? Are you familiar with the context in this climb, in this domain, right? And that is exactly how this internship is structured. Now, to not crown it all, yes, you're some of your specialists, because I think, like you rightly said, yes, there are some people that are not in Nigeria. It's not just one person you saw in business analysis. We have across other programs. We have one Tohib is in the UK, just to mention a few. So we have team members across different locations. But you see the projects you work on, where are they from? They are from Amdari's project partners. Amdari itself is located in the UK, but headquartered in Canada. The co-founders are in Canada. So what this ultimately means is 100%, some of the team members are in other locations, which is normal. And for UK employers to also be comfortable hiring Nigerians from Nigeria, one thing I've discovered from when they hire people who are in Nigeria is the only problem would either be, oh, these guys complain about light in works. These guys, not the quality of work that they get. I don't know if you've heard about it before, where they complain about other things outside of, oh, Nigerians would either complain of network or complain of light. That is the complaints you will get from a Nigerian. The ethic or work ethics that you would get from a Nigerian is amazing. We have that work ethic, we have that zeal to want to succeed at whatever we do, and we are always very good and sound technically. It's as good as the way you have Indians being exceptional, right, when it comes to tech. That's how well you can also vouch for Nigerians when it comes to that skill. So trust me, it is not a matter of location, it's a matter of the quality of the project. And your projects are from some of Amdari's project partners that are located in the UK, US, and Canada, right? So I'm going to quickly wrap up the conversation because, like I said, right, a lot has been said by Danity, and if I say too much, it will pretty much be me repeating all he has said. But there are a few things I would love to reiterate. Now, if you haven't enrolled in Amdari's program, can you give me thumbs up? There are some names I am super familiar with, e.g. Ma, e.g. Mayowa. There are some names, and when I saw Joy, I was like, Joy is here again, right? So there are some names that I'm so familiar with because I have seen them join our sessions time and time again. And it's so beautiful when we see them join. It just means that, okay, even if you're not taking action at that very point, you definitely need this, right? So why take longer? I mean, Joy literally said it right here on this call. I know some people are just joining, but Joy literally said something. She said, after she eventually enrolled, right, last month, after she eventually enrolled, I believe she enrolled in March, because I still remember Joy in one of my sessions, actually a couple of sessions, but I can still remember her, right? And she said something. She said, she was like, why did I not enroll earlier than now? And I understand why she must have had doubts. You have seen or you have even paid for other programs before and you didn't get results. And she said another thing. Honestly, I like most of the things she said. She said she feels Amdari is not really saying the things that they really have to offer you enough. Like they are not shouting it enough, or they are not saying everything. And one thing I can say is, honestly, we say most of these things, but it feels like people just are so scared from other, platforms that they paid for, that they are not hearing you. They just choose to hear one thing, that no, all of you are the same, all of you are the same. No, that's why I like to speak clearly when I speak to people, that I know you have enrolled in other programs, but if the program you paid for is a training program, if it's a course, trust me, courses have their own limitation. The reason why courses have limitation is it is not designed to give you everything that will make you land a job. But they don't tell you this, not because they lied to you, but because if they speak about that limitation, you would not pay. You would immediately tell yourself something, oh, maybe I'll just get a program that will give me everything. But the truth is, if they were very sincere with you, you would still join them, because there is hardly a program that covers what you need to get a job. All those edtechs are not designed to give you everything, but you need it. You need to get started with a course. But because they market it as though, take this course, you get a job. You immediately pay. Now, you don't get a job. You say lie. They didn't lie. They just withheld some information, which is, yes, this course will give you this and that, but for you to get a job, you need to do more. Academia does not come with everything that helps you land a job. That's why you go to the university. You can't get a job after your course. That's why you take this degree program or this professional program. You can't get a job. That is why academia also have something called sandwich degree, which means you take a course for a period of time in class, and then you have to go to the field. When I say to the field, it doesn't necessarily have to be like on-site kind of field, right? But I mean going into the system, learn how it's done. That's why there is IT placement from your schools, right? That is because they know, and that's even why the UK also has something called graduate scheme. You cannot get a job without being hands-on. And Darlington made one very beautiful statement. I know some people joined after Darlington left, right? He said the best way to learn is to do. That is what you get at Amdari. You are not doing theory. You are coming here to learn by doing. What is the first thing? Doing. It is in the process of doing that you get to learn, right? It's in the process of doing that you get to learn. And people will take courses and complain of how there is no result because that project management course you took is making project management look convenient, right? When you get into the actual practice, you would know that 1 + 1 is not 1 because you would have difficult stakeholders. You would have scope creep. You would have priorities shifting because of this, because of that. How do you make judgments? How do you make things? How do you communicate with stakeholders if priorities shift? And guess what? This stakeholder might prioritize this and they are giving you deadline. Another stakeholder is coming into the picture. Oh, Mark, this is very important. This is urgent. Oh, David, this is very important. Project management is convenient on paper. Any field, any practice is convenient on paper. But you see, in practice, it's not what you were told in class. That's why even mathematics, classwork, 1 + 1 is 2. Tests or assessments, they start giving you board maths. Then it comes to exam, they start giving you further maths. SORD, they will expect you to calculate SORD, and you're like, this. That is exactly what plays out when you take a professional course and when you get into the job market. And you're like, all these interview questions, it's not the same as, yeah, that's because it is advanced. They are asking you trick questions that would reveal if you can do the job or not. And one thing if you don't take anything from this conversation today, please take one thing. That job on the job board exists because there is a problem within the organization that posted it. And if that job exists, it only means one thing. They need people that can solve it. So by virtue of the course you have taken, can you solve the problem immediately you are hired? Or you would need assistance. You would need a team lead that can guide you, that can support you. If you truly would need that guidance, you can't get the job because that's a red flag for them. The reason why that job exists can be because of system inefficiency, or can be that the company is growing and the team needs extra support. Guess what? The person coming to support still needs support because they are only off a boot camp and they are coming in to start working. How are you going to get things done when you will take time to figure things out also? And you figuring things out is not a bad thing. But do you know what it means for the company? It defeats the purpose of them hiring you. Oh, the team needs support. The team is growing. Oh, we need more productivity and we need an extra hand. Now they've hired you, but you need to take your time because you have to practice on the job and all of that. You are defeating the purpose of we are growing. We need to be productive because this person brought on board cannot be productive yet. They need to be supported. And it's just a law that guides how we learn. You cannot begin to perform like an expert if all you've done is just take a course. You need time. That's why there is housemanship for medical doctors. I believe that's what they call it. That's why there is a practice, like there is like a process of practice before you become a professional, before you specialize. You have to practice. It's no different from tech. So let's not undermine the place of work experience because, oh, it's tech. I just paid for a boot camp and it's not like 4 years course, 5 years course. So we are undermining the role of what you need to really stand out and get the job. So you need to build that competence, right? And again, Darlington said something clearly. You need to do that by doing, all right? And that's what Amdari gives you. You learn on the job. Then we package that which you have learned into a CV that we revamp for you. So we don't make things up on your CV. So if I tell you today that, oh, Omaumi, the CV that we're going to revamp for you is going to come with, is going to make it easy for you to land jobs, you will get interviews, oh, money, your CV would be so revamped that it will convert a lot, blah, blah, blah. When I say that, I'm not saying that we will perform magic because we know what the ATS wants to see. I'm saying that we would make you work on projects that would make it easy for us to have those things we know the ATS wants to see when scanning, when filtering, when trying to see if you're good enough for this job or this role or not. That's why the projects you work on, they are 5 to 6, and they are across very, very important industries that recruiters are hiring for in the UK, like healthcare. If you're working as a data analyst, you would work on projects in healthcare, you would work on projects in banking, so that if you get a job as a if you get a job in an industry like financial services, they know you have worked with data sets from that field. And these projects are coming from businesses across these industries. That is why it's not about your mentor, it's about the project you are solving. The knowledge of the mentor is universal. Okay? The knowledge of the mentor is universal. But this that is going to serve as evidence on your CV, what is it reflecting? It is reflecting Amdari. It's reflecting all those amazing businesses across the UK, US, and Canada that you have solved the problem for. That mentor you are working with is purely guiding you, because that hand holding you will not get in a company. Because, oh, James should be coming in as an expert. Oh, Zainab should be coming in as a professional. That hand holding that they won't provide because they believe you are coming in as an expert. That is what these mentors give you. Their knowledge is universal. The projects you work on, they are from businesses across the UK, US, Canada. Amdari itself is in Canada. Here's an example of one of the businesses that we've partnered with. The name is Rate. It's a fintech company. Let me be sure I spelled it correctly. Yeah, it's a fintech company, right? So that's one thing that happens. That's one thing that happens. So sorry about that. So that's one thing that happens at the end of the day, right? So when you gain the experience, it is simple. It's making it very easy for you to stand out. We package it and put it on your CV. So what are we putting on your CV? Actual work that you have done, actual impacts that you have made, right? It's not something made up, it's something you can defend. And we support you with application. We partner with platforms like CV Matching, an AI, let me type it, an AI platform that helps you tailor your CV to every job application, one, and also makes it easy for you to know, oh, is this company sponsoring? Oh, is this company? You don't need to do that brilliant search on LinkedIn that you copy and pasting. You don't need any of that. All you need to do is simple. Just copy, or rather go to a job board. This CV matching platform works there. I'll show you how it works. And we give our interns access to this as well. And that is exactly how this happens. So the internship is not you working alone or in isolation. Darlington mentioned teams as he was speaking. It is also you having meetings twice a week. He also mentioned this when he was speaking. He said they always met like twice a week. I think he said Friday and Monday, I can't remember. You meet twice in a week, okay? And then that meeting that you meet twice in a week is also simple. It is purely you guys working together collaboratively and having like a sync conversation or aligning on the call. And that call is for you to also get feedback from your team lead. Your team lead is on every and all of these calls, right? Your team lead is on every call that you have with them. And then for every project you work on, you'll be told it's 2 weeks deadline, it's 3 weeks deadline. That means by week 5, you have completed 2 projects. That's because by week 5, we revamp your CV for you, okay? By week 5, we revamp your CV. So, and it's very flexible. And we give you work reference letter. And that reference has played a huge part in helping our interns land roles. And I would like us to listen to Toyin for just, let's say, 15 seconds, not something long, just 15 seconds on how the work experience at Amdari has helped her land a job. Now, it's not about the work experience now, it's about the reference, the backing that comes with Amdari. So again, just to answer Zainab's question, I think it was Zainab that asked earlier, right? About, oh, will recruiters trust considering that, oh, these are your mentors? It's not about the mentor. Would you apply to a job today and they would say, oh, what is the name of your team lead? You want to know. It's the name of the company. And can we speak to your line manager on the call? That's even it, right? Sometimes they just request for reference letter. So these team leads you work with, they are like your departmental head, and I believe we all know that your team lead can be in any location in the world. What's the reason why they are your team leads is because they have years of experience. Most of these guys have worked with international organizations. Some of them live, I have to say some because it's not all of them. Some live in Nigeria does not mean their experience is limited to Nigeria, right? Their experience is not limited to Nigeria, it's across different locations, all right? And that is one thing I would like to mention. So let's listen to Toyin for just 15 seconds. She cited the reference from Amdari as what helped her get the job. The reference comes from any of the co-founders at Amdari. They can check us out, they can try to vet. It comes from any of the co-founders at Amdari. Aside myself, we have Ifemena Ipro. Let me type the name for you. We have Adeza Suleiman. This is, he spells is Suleiman like this so that I don't put I. So Adeza Suleiman, and also we have, oh yeah, so that's it. Of course, they're me. So you can look them up. Your reference comes from these two people or me, and it is backed because we stamp it, we sign it, location is added. If it's Canada address you need, if it's UK address, whichever one you need, and that is it. So let's listen to it for just 15 seconds and we'll be back.
At Amdari, using them and all this, so it was pretty good. And then the reference too from your hand was pretty tight because they actually had to mention it that my references were hair tight, that they were actually considering two people, but my references actually nailed it for me.
Okay, let me pause it there. So that is exactly how this works. Can you give me thumbs up if you heard everything she said? Please give me thumbs up. You heard everything she said. Okay? Give me thumbs up. Give me thumbs up. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, interesting story. Interesting story. Now, these are some of the interns at Amdari who have sent us DMs for reference. Let me tell you something. This came in from Claire, who works at Healthcare Island, and she said, Olainka has nominated you to provide an employment reference for their application to Healthcare Island. This other one says, the above named has been offered a position as a systems analyst with our company and has provided your details as a referee. His name is Rene Otofe, right? This person got a job before they requested for reference. So it's not like I'm not even sure that he got a job. He got the job, and this statement clearly verifies it. Do you know that this person recently enrolled for another internship at Amdari just yesterday? I promise you, I saw the name and I was like, I know this name. This person interned with us as far back as 2024. He was part of the first, like, earliest people that landed jobs. And trust me, out of like 10 people that applied to jobs that come to intern at Amdari, about 6 end up landing jobs. And I always say it's going to be from your own energy also and how committed you are to this. You have to do the work. It's not magic. Back to Rene and why he is back in this program. He is back not to gain experience under data analytics, but a different field. He most likely is transitioning, right? And this is something I can relate to because I started my career. Pardon me, I know I didn't introduce myself, right? Yes, I'm one of the co-founders at Amdari, but I started my career as a software developer. Now, starting my career as a software developer meant I did my internship also. So yes, I did internship. So that's one established fact. Now, I worked as a software engineer for a while, and I decided to transition because of, personality reasons, curiosity. Darlington said something. He said, you want to work in a field where when there is a problem, you don't start to hate your job. Because that's the essence of doing a job. It's problem solving, but not technical problem solving alone, but also soft skill wise and other aspects business wise. Remember, if I hire James today to come to my company and I hire James as a data scientist, James spoke about algorithm building, predictive modeling, yada yada. All of that is technical. We agree. But do you know that me hiring James to work in my company is because we have customers that we are serving? That means we sell. That means there is a sales aspect. That means there is a business-driven aspect of what we do. So that means beyond James's technical skills, if he's also able to understand how that translates to helping us solve a larger problem on the customer front, maybe it's churn rate related, right? You see what I'm saying there, right? At the end of the day, no matter how technical you are still part of a bigger picture. And that bigger picture means you are not limited to being a data scientist and just writing codes in Python. No, that bigger picture does not mean I'm a project manager, so I'm just restricted to planning stand-ups, having projects within budgets. No, it means I can also look at how a project we are working on, or I can even initiate a project to solve a major problem I identified or someone else identified it. But I'm seeing it like you can actually use a project like this to solve the problem that Kwame has identified. That is telling you that there is a bigger picture and you are part of that bigger picture. So do not restrict. And that comes from even your interview. You go for an interview and you're already restricting yourself to just talking about data science, algorithm, churn rate. You're just stopping at everything technical. Every other data scientist sounds like that. So what can you tell me that will make me know that James' wealth of knowledge is more robust? I want to work with James. That's the only way you can get them to say yes. Because remember, as James is applying, 20 more people are, 500 more people are. And in that mix, there is somebody that has worked with Accenture. There is somebody that has worked with Amazon. There is somebody that has worked with McKinsey. There is somebody. So you are competing against these people. Somebody asked me a question yesterday. Oh, so Amdari internship is 4 months. So if from applying to this internship now, how am I sure that that 4 months experience, it's not exactly what Zainab asked, but I see it as a similar mindset, right? It's like saying, how am I sure that that 4 months internship is enough for me to compete with people that have experience working with organizations like McKinsey, like this, like that, or like yourself? This person literally said like yourself, Omawumi, because from what you've said, you have experience working across multiple sectors. How can I compete with somebody like yourself when I apply and all I have is Amdari internship? That is why you work on 5 projects to 6. That is why we don't come up with simulations or random projects. That's why it's in partnership with projects, or rather businesses across the UK, US, and Canada. That is why the quality of the project is not basic. So you build that portfolio that makes you look properly structured, knowledgeable, and experienced. And that's why you have a team lead that would work with you to make sure that and you just need to commit, and it's possible. Just commit. Nothing would happen if Amdari is giving you the projects, we are working, we have meetings, you consistently miss it. Then everything I'm saying will just go. Everything I've said on this call is just like, I didn't say anything, right? But if you commit, you're part of this. That 6 out of 10 people that I mentioned, you can be part of that 6. You see that 4, it's often, oh, I am busy. Yeah, sorry, I missed the class. No, you can't. And it's not a class. It's internship. It's work experience. Oh, sorry, I missed yesterday's meeting. Excuse upon excuse. There is a reason you chose to commit your time and invest in this. So you are meant to just make that 4 months worth your while. And Diary's job is already to wake up every day and serve you by giving you quality projects, by partnering with businesses that would make it easy for you to compete and stand out. That is our job. By paying trainers and experienced people to come and work closely with you as team leads. They are not here to volunteer. They are not here doing you a favor. Nobody is doing you a favor here. They are here to help you gain that knowledge that makes you stand out. But if you don't show up, how are we going to be sure that what we've done is impactful? Because our goal is to have more skilled people in the job market. To produce more skilled people in the job market, there is a reason why I said skilled. Skilled, when you have practiced, is an easy title. But skilled, when you've only taken a course, is not even a statement you should make, because skills comes with expertise and competence. And expertise and competence comes with hands-on practice, not theory, watching videos. Trello is a drag and drop tool. Jira is a drag and drop tool. This is what you use Trello for. You use it to plan tasks, you use it. They just tell you you use it to do this, you use it to do that. Have you really managed a team using these tools? Have you created anything risk register related? Is there a true risk that you are actually managing? Right? None of that. That makes it very impossible for you to be able to do anything on that end. So Renee came back. I need you to know something. I left software development to transition into project management, and I needed work experience. Have I been working as a software developer before? Yes. Have I even interacted with project managers? Yes. But when I transitioned and I took a course, guess what? I still needed to gain knowledge and become hands-on as a project manager. And Renee is back. not because he didn't get a job back then, but because he is moving away from data analytics now. Who knows why, right? He's moving away from data analytics now to do something else. I'm not sure if it was business analysis he picked, but it is one of these two, right? It is one of these two. And one thing I need to tell you is that every skill you have today has half-life, which is 2.5 years, and it expires. So how do you become a part of this? It's by enrolling. Now, the beautiful thing is, yes, it's £500 you see on my screen, but we're running a discount because it's IWD season. Yes, March ended yesterday, but we decided to extend this for the next 24 hours, right? We decided to extend this. And you might think that Omomi is joking, Omomi is playing. I don't want somebody to come in 2 weeks' time and say, oh, but I joined your session, Omomi, a few weeks ago, and it was $299, but 500 now, it's high, it's this, it's that. Honestly, we are trying as much as we can to make Amdari an accessible program for all, right? We're trying to make it as accessible. All of the perks, all of the advantages, the employability team. I think, was it Joy that mentioned it or Darlington? Yes, there is also an employability team that helps you prep for interviews. So there is so much you get, and the partnership we have with CV Matchly also, which makes it easy for you to be able to get a job. Because when you apply, it will compare your CV to the job board and let you know immediately, this CV does not match, let us revamp it. It is going to revamp your CV, and I'll show you how it works. So why am I sharing this? Because it is very, very important for you to know that this program is very accessible, and we make it even easier by making it possible for you to pay in 3 installments. So you are able to pay £99 today, and then next month another £100, well, £100, and then 2 months time another £100. That's you paying $299 across 3 months. You spread it 99, 100, and 100. All right, and you would see that the time you could have, just said, oh, I'm thinking about it, I'm wasting it on thinking and thinking, you could have just completed the program, and in 2, 3, 4 months time, you are part of the people who we are saying, hi, Kwame, please, can you join us for this session? We'd like you to share your experience. If we don't deliver, Darlington will not be here to discuss anything with you today. He will not even be willing. I have Darlington's video existing already, but they are always happy to still come and speak to me, because I tell them that, see, people are skeptical. People think that we just say these things for the fanciness or just to sound like every other. That is not the case. And it just takes trusting. And that's why we are that sure with £99. And you can choose to say, I'm not liking this, I'm not paying the other 200. That's because you can spread it across 3 months. The internship is 4 months. You already used 3 months to pay. What's left, right? And you can just say that I'm not getting the value I want, I'm out. But we are not scared, because we know you will get the value you want, right? We know you will get the value you want. If you don't get the value, we can't call you to come and speak to more people that want to enroll, and they most likely, have their doubts because they have been, they've been through this program or something similar and they didn't get results. With Amdari, the result is evident. The result is not just in the quality of projects, but also in the quality of people that we I don't want to say graduates, because it's not a course, right? But the quality of people that we have in the job market as a product of Amdari, right? So at the end of the day, we want you to get the job and be able to keep it, not get a CV that gets past the ATS, not be able to pass an interview. No, it is get a CV that gets past the ATS, pass an interview, and thrive on the job. Because what's the point of getting a job and you're fired 2 days or 2 weeks later or 3 or 2 months later, right? So we want you to be able to thrive. That's why we keep saying, please show up for your sessions. Please be active while taking the project. There's a reason you decided to even take this step. And just so that, again, like Joy said, I wish I had even done this, because I've been following Amdari for over a year, but I had my doubts. I was like, and then eventually she made up her mind a year later. And guess what? She's like, I shouldn't have doubted in the first place. I should have just done this. Maybe Joy would have been somebody that we've even called for one of these sessions, but never too late. We're still hopeful, and we believe that in 3 months' time, Joy, fingers crossed, I don't know if Joy is still here, but in 2 months' time, I hope that Joy is also able to join us on course like this to share her own experience, right? So for you to enroll is simple. So I'll show you how to do that. But guess what? We have more advantages for you, right? We have more advantages, and the advantages spans across you being able to also get a global talent exclusive offer from us. Now, we know how visa routes work. Oh, first one is study visa. If that's the one you used, right? If it's not spousal visa. Another one is PSW visa. And we know what that means. And in the days of PSW visa, whatever work you're doing, they rarely pay you what you're worth. They rarely pay you what you deserve. Because it's like you are at their mercy, they're doing you a favor and all that. Now, when you move on to getting skilled worker visa, or for you to even not have that immigration anxiety, you have to be able to secure that skilled worker visa fast or immediately. Amdari helps you with support in that area or on that front. But at the same time, there are other options, visa route wise, right? Which is global talent offer. And what this needs you to have is maybe somebody that can endorse you, maybe a platform where you've been able to show your skills as an emerging talent. I believe that's, yeah, they have one that they call emerging talents. It is perfect for people who are just starting out, like yourself. So the expectation is not unnecessarily high, but they just want evidence and proof. Now, evidence from the kind of architectured projects you work on at Amdari would properly position you and sell you. And we would also endorse it for you. Endorsements would come from the co-founders of Amdari, and whatever it is they need will also come from that. So there is a proper support because you would have to also do the work so that we are not vouching for something that is not real, right? We do not want you to have any reason to not succeed or thrive. Let me put it that way. And thriving and succeeding means you say you can do this and you get the job and you can really do it. That's what this internship impacts you with, right? And then we support you with lifetime career support. You don't have to come back to Amdari for internship again, as long as you are not changing your career. If you're changing your career, of course, you need another experience in that field. But you don't, and that's one thing that his name is Jerry Olatoyo. You can look Jerry up on LinkedIn. Let me type his name. Jerry Olatoyo. You can look him up on LinkedIn. Let me be sure I spelled his name right here. So one thing with Jerry is he got a job in the UK last year, relocated to Canada this year, right? And he did not have to re-enroll for Amdari. All he needed was reference from us, and we provided it, right? So as long as you're not changing fields or your niche or your domain, you don't need a new experience because you leave UK to go to Canada. This is just to also add to the other question earlier. This knowledge, this skill is universal, right? Yes, they need you to have reference and backing from these organizations. That is why the project itself is robust. And that's why we partner with companies, not just in the UK, but even across US and Canada, right? And then we also give you free access to CV Matching, 6 months access. I will show you how CV Matching works. And then the endorsement letter that I mentioned, we would prepare for you. And lifetime access to a free portfolio website from Amdari, which looks like this, right? Oh, I don't like what this template looks like. Yes, we have another template and it looks like this. Oh, I don't like this template. Yes, we have 20 more templates and you can easily work with them. All right, so that's what this looks like. And I would be taking questions soon. But before I do that, let me quickly show you how exactly to secure your spot. Now, my colleague has dropped the link in the chat, but I would walk you through the enrollment process. So if you click on the link that would be, again, my colleague has dropped it. But let me just drop the link for you again, in case you missed it, right? So you click on this link you see on my screen. You'll be redirected to this page. Once on this page, please click on apply here the minute you spot the program you want to go for. Are you going for business analysis, project management? So whichever one you're going for, please select apply here. Once you select apply here, you will get redirected to the details page. Okay, so let's move on. Yeah, so you would get redirected to the details page, and the details page looks like this. Sorry, these are some of the mentors. So I want to show us some of the mentors, but I think it's still loading. Yeah. So these are some of the mentors that you will get to work with during your internship at Amdari, and they are amazing, smart professionals. That I can't even be scared of the quality we get. And then click on apply now. Once you click on apply now, like I said, we have few more slots left. This International Women's Day is getting over already. We just extended it. And you have 1 more hour, as you see. Let me just say 2 hours, because it's going to close by midnight, right? We extended it and we said, okay, for people that will be joining the session today, let's still give more grace for them to use this discount. So you come to this place, you will see the details. You can even pay lesser than 299. What you can pay is 280, and click on when you want to start, April or May. Click on it. You can use this discount only for April or May. If you're starting in June, July, you can't use this discount. It will be 500 by then. So you select that you want to start in April, scroll down. Do you want to make your payment in full? That is the only way you can pay 280. But oh, I want to pay in installments. Then you can start with 99 and then go on to paying 100 and then go on to paying another 100. All right. Then click on proceed to payment. Sorry. Once you click on proceed to payment, it is going to redirect you to this page that just gives you more like details or like a summary of the details that you already typed in the chat, right? That you already filled. Pardon my thought process on that. So just your name, blah, 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 and then payment plan that you selected. You selected 3 installments. So you see your first payment is 99, then 100, then 100. Now, Amdari really makes life easy. Really, really. You see, if you pay today, being 1st of April, your next payment by default is due on the 1st of May. But guess what? You can edit it. You can say, oh, okay, I want to pay by 29th or by 30th or much later. And what that simply means is you will be able to extend your payments for close to 2 months. That's how much we are not scared. We know you will get value for why you are here, right? So, and this cohort starts when? Next week, Saturday. So by 31st of May, you have done 7 weeks in the program. You have done 7 weeks in the program. So what this is ultimately telling you is Amdari makes it very easy for you to take part in this. And come here to I confirm my information is correct. I have read the terms and conditions. Make sure you click to go read it and then click on pay now. Once you click on pay now, you will get redirected to the Stripe checkout page. Now on the Stripe checkout page, all you have to do is just fill your card details. Okay, once you fill your card details, your payment becomes successful, or rather click on pay and your payment becomes successful. Now, because I will be clicking an actual card detail, let's just come here so I can finish up what I'm saying. So click on sorry, this is not you, this is me. So click on pay and it processes and tells you it's successful. It redirects you to this form. On this page, ensure you fill the form. It is the same information, even if the page doesn't look like this anymore, but it's the same information. Type your level. Are you a beginner? Are you an intermediate? Select it. Country of residence, UK, US, Canada, selected. Your gender, male, female, selected. How you found out about Amdari, Instagram, LinkedIn, selected. What influenced your decision? Type it. Oh, it was the testimonial from Darlington. Oh, it was whatever it is, type it. Which of our sessions influenced your decision? By virtue of being on this call with me today, please select Fireside Chat because it's the Fireside Chat with an alumni, and that is Darlington. So please select Fireside Chat from this list and then click on Complete Setup. Your payment becomes successful and it tells you go to dashboard. When you go to dashboard, you would see crash courses that you can take. You would also see your billing history, right, or summary, which tells you, oh, you paid 1 out of 3, this is what is left. When this was recorded, the payment was higher than this, and on first installment was 130. So that's why you see what you see here. So this is me telling you that the offer you see here today on the screen, this 99, it will not exist tomorrow, right? So if you want this, this is your opportunity to use the discount and enroll today. So I will take questions right now. Let's come back to my slide. I'll take questions right now. So please, if you have any question for me, indicate. I know you've asked some questions while Pedro or Darlington rather was here. But please, if you have any question for me, I am more than happy to take them. But if you're good, you don't have any question, I would like to know if you will be joining us as soon as possible, right? Because like I said, this is closing very soon. This is closing very soon. And you want to use the discount that we have available because in the next 2 hours, it will not be available. So please, if you have any question for me, can I see you indicate? Can I see you indicate? If you have any question for me, please indicate. Kwame, Mark. Okay, well, I know that some people here are familiar, so most likely they don't have questions, right? But I just want to hear from somebody. Are we good? Give me thumbs up. Okay, if you don't have any question, can you give me thumbs up? Just give me thumbs up. And by the way, yes, I know J. Andrew also. So J. Andrew is not a new person to this. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you very much. Awesome. All right. So I see that there are no questions. Zainab, are you good? Thank you, Debbie. Hi, Zainab. Are you here? Okay, I'm not sure Zainab is here. Okay, thank you, Bernard. That's amazing. All right. So who is joining the next cohort? For those that have not joined, like I said earlier, I know Joy had joined. I know Mark. Were you able to join at that time? Were you able to start with the program? Hello, Mark. Okay, I don't know if Mark is able to speak. Mark, are you here with us? All right, so I'll move on from Mark. So I believe Zainab does not have any question and we are all good. So we will be closing off shortly. Thank you all so much for your time on the call today. And it's been a pleasure speaking to everybody. And for those that are already in the program,